I had always been aware of my condition. Living with schizophrenia was a part of my everyday reality. But nothing could have prepared me for the night I got lost in the dark, sinister forest. I had decided to take a drive into the woods, seeking some solitude and a break from my daily struggles. The forest road was narrow and twisted, disappearing into the darkness of the trees. As I drove deeper into the woods, the voices in my head grew louder, their incessant whispers gnawing at my sanity. My GPS had guided me into this remote forest, promising a route to tranquility. Yet, as the dense trees closed in around me, the shadows seemed to come alive with eerie figures and sinister faces. My paranoia spiked, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched by malevolent eyes hidden in the darkness. The road, already winding and treacherous, began to distort and elongate, stretching out endlessly before me. The forest itself seemed to breathe and pulse, its branches twisting and contorting like grotesque limbs, reaching out to ensnare me. The voices inside my head urged me to turn back, but I couldn't find the courage to do so. Panic gripped me, and the feeling of being lost was a heavy weight on my chest. I checked my phone for comfort, but it was as unreliable as my mind. Around a bend, I saw a figure in my rearview mirror, a shadowy presence lurking behind me. My heart raced as I looked back, but there was nothing there. The figure was a mere figment of my troubled mind, yet it left me trembling with unease. I had always known my hallucinations were a part of my condition, but the forest seemed to amplify them. The line between reality and delusion blurred as the shadows danced menacingly on the periphery of my vision. A sudden chill enveloped me, and I couldn't help but feel a growing sense of dread. The air in the car turned frigid, and I knew that it was just another trick of my schizophrenia. My trembling hands gripped the wheel as I tried to keep my wits about me. Then, up ahead, in the middle of the road, I saw a grotesque, shadowy figure. I slammed on the brakes, my heart pounding in my chest. The figure stood motionless, its form shrouded in darkness, and I could feel the suffocating grip of fear tightening around me. "Who are you?" I called out, my voice trembling. The figure remained still, refusing to answer my desperate plea. I couldn't escape the sensation that it was a projection of my tormented mind, yet it felt so real, so menacing. Summoning all the courage I could muster, I stepped out of the car to confront the figure. The moment my feet touched the forest floor, a cold wind swept through the woods and the figure began to move, its eerie moans filling the night. Panic overwhelmed me, and I tried to retreat, to find safety within the confines of my car. But my vehicle had disappeared, leaving me stranded in the haunting forest. The figure advanced with slow, deliberate steps, its eyes hollow and empty, like dark voids that seemed to draw me in. I fell to the ground, and the figure's skeletal fingers reached out, a ghastly touch like ice. I let out a scream, the sound reverberating through the trees, but I knew there was no one to hear it. The forest had become a labyrinth of my own making, a manifestation of my own tortured psyche. The hallucinations multiplied, more figures appearing around me, their faces twisted with anguish. They encircled me, their voices merging with the cacophony in my head, and I realized that I was no longer in control. The forest had become a nightmarish playground for my schizophrenic mind. The line between reality and delusion was now irrevocably blurred, and I had lost all sense of self. I was trapped in the labyrinth of my own madness, and there was no escape. As the night went on, my screams and cries of terror were swallowed by the forest, and I was left to wander in the dark, lost within the depths of my own tortured psyche. The forest had become a reflection of the horrors within me, a place where my schizophrenia held me captive in a never-ending nightmare.